From Del Rio, Texas, Rob Wade and Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive, recorded live, Saturday, 9 February 2013. Episode 54, Oops, I Clipped It Again. Welcome once again to another exciting, fact-filled, and fun-filled episode of Two Guys Who Dive, and I'm your host, Rob Wade. I'm here with my good friend,
Robert Garza,
otherwise known as
Robert Flamingo.
Wait a minute.
I
When'd you
forgot.
become so formal?
Oh yeah, that's right. ScubaBob.
No, I
Oh, okay. Which one?
went with a Bobby Flamingo.
Oh yeah, Bobby
Remember
Flamingo.
Bobby Flamingo. Oh boy.
I said Robert, right? Oh,
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry, my bad, guys. It's Bobby Flamingo.
And a special guest appearance by our second to the youngest, Ronan. Say hi, everybody. He's feeling much better. For those who follow the podcast and know that we've been dealing with some health issues. If you own a dachshund, you know exactly the kind of issues that we deal with dachshunds. They're long backed, and so it doesn't take much if you're not careful to injure their little backs. And so Ronan was running into some issues. He was actually partially paralyzed for a while, so he's been kind of going through a couple of different bouts of what do they call it? Where it was getting better and then it regresses. And then it got worse, and now he's gotten better. Now he's just, he's acting like he never had any issues. Of course, we're still overly cautious with him, so he'll whine when he wants to get picked up. So he's trained us quite well.
Yeah.
So he hollers at us when he wants to be picked up on the couch or something like that. And of course, now joining us is our youngest, Graza. Say hi.
Right on cue.
I'm telling you, she gets so jealous. They've been just playing like little crazy people lately. I'll be sitting there. I've got some video on my phone that I took last night. I was just sitting there working on the laptop. And I look down. I hear this wrestling, and I hear the collars, going. I look down, and they're just on their little cushion out in the living room, just going at it. It's hilarious. Watch them. They like to play the tug of war with one of those little non-stuffed little chew toys or animals, and so they'll play with that, and then Graza will run in front of Ronan and kind of shake it at him and go like, "Come on, I dare you. Go ahead, give it a shot. Come on." And then Ronan just kind of stares at him, and there's this absolute nobody's moving. It's like, you draw. No, you draw. And then there's the movement, and then it's the cascade of running around chasing each other. It's just crazy. So it's good to see him back in his old state, back in his craziness. So how's your week been?
It's been more like a roller coaster ride for me.
Yeah, you weren't able to be here last week for the podcast.
Yeah,
so it gave me a chance to talk about me.
Oh, okay. No, my 4-year-old's been battling like the flu.
The same stuff that's been going around.
Yeah, and I was kind of concerned that, it might have been that flu epidemic that's going around. And,
right.
So I was real cautious about it, and it takes like an act of Congress literally to get in to see the doctor.
Right.
But I was able to get him in, and
awesome.
No, he just had a really severe, and I felt really bad when I heard this, but he had an ear and throat infection. So the doctor was like, asking him, "Do you feel pain in your ear?" And he just kept saying no, and it's like, she must have asked him like 3 times. And I go, "Is he supposed to be feeling pain?" She goes, "Well, by the look of his ear, he should be in pain."
Wow.
But he wasn't, he was actually really good. He was just, the fever was just.
Yeah.
constant.
Well, sometimes other symptoms will cause you to not really respond to or react to things that would be more telling about what's going on with you. So especially with little kids, because they're so easily influenced as far as their perception of their world. When you have multiple things going on, you have the fever, you have the ear infection, the throat. You know, one of those is going to be the overriding one. Is like, if I could fix that, everything would be okay. But then when you fix that, then it's like, oh, my throat hurts and my ears hurt.
Well, you know, since he did have a fever that was just constant at 100, 101 around there.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really like in a best of moods. But we kept giving him, Advil for the fever.
His head wasn't spinning around.
No.
He wasn't coughing up pea soup or anything, right? Okay,
not
just
at
checking.
all. But probably the fact that his ear didn't hurt because we were giving him Advil for the fever.
So you're kind of masking the
So it
symptom.
was probably, he probably didn't feel it because, he had.
Wow.
But they put him on
Poor little
penicillin
buddy.
and quick, like
Yeah.
within 24 hours, he was like a whole different little boy.
Yeah, so many people. Tara was down. She went to work Monday, and then Tuesday she was out. Wednesday she was out. It was tough. She was having a hard time. I mean, and another friend of Troy's wife was kind of down with it. Our pastor was down with. I mean, it was just every time. And then Tom Jones, our bass player in our praise team, he was kind of in and out of it. He was ambulatory, but not much. You come to practice and just like, so yeah, this has been crazy season.
Yeah.
Of course, at least we're not up in the Northeast. Crazy.
Snow. Yeah, you kind of threw me there for a second. I was off in left field, but no. Supposedly, according to what I read in the news, there's been 4 deaths already due to the
What?
Yeah.
Even though they had all this
That
preparation,
time yeah, exactly.
Even had Mayor Doomberg up there, to tell them, okay, you need to do this, that, and the other thing. Don't go outside because, we're wanting to make sure that, because you can't walk and you can't move and you're too stupid to handle simple things like snow.
Even though we get it every year, right?
Yeah, I'm like, you live in the Northeast. You're going to get this pretty much regularly. So all we're talking is a difference in volume. And they act like it's the first time they've ever had snow up there. I'm like, good grief, people. Have we bred a society of pansies in America now? Is that what?
It's something in the water. That's why I'm trying to drink bottled water.
Well, they're not allowed to have anything but water anymore up there. I mean, you can't get a soda. You can't get, it's just ridiculous. I'm a little bit exaggerating, but not by much.
No.
He's like on a rampage up there to remove every possible thing that would be good and bad for you. I'm sorry, we're going to have to ban chocolate because we don't want to have to deal with all the acne.
Yeah, that's right. Even though
come on.
It's the master of the love endorphin.
What?
Yeah, chocolate. You know how they say that
the love endorphin.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that on a commercial. That's why I said it that way. Guys, I would not come up with something like that on my own. Let me tell you, I'm not that creative. But
that gives me an idea for another show we could do. The love endorphins.
It's a good
like
name for a
band.
It's a good name for a band.
There probably is one. If you probably check the whatever the union is for musicians, there's probably a band.
Somebody's already registered it. Yeah.
Hello, we're the Love Endorphins. It's probably a nerdy
group. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, my week's been pretty much a roller coaster. Work has been kind of difficult.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too into detail, but one particular person is just making my life a living Hades.
He's put me in a living Hades.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's unfortunately, the harder I try, it seems like I take 5 steps forward and I take 12 back with this person.
Yeah.
But, the only thing I can do is just keep my head up and just keep moving forward. I have been reassured.
I hate that word.
I've been reassured by my immediate supervisors that
spanking's coming.
No, that I'm doing okay. They're aware.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're
right.
Good.
No, they're
Am I
aware.
missing it somewhere? Yeah,
They're aware
I totally get that.
That this particular person is singling me out just because they don't like me. So as long as
it ethnic?
No. Okay. No. It's just Well, I can't say it
I
on
know,
the air,
and I'm not going to press you. It's
but
just,
I mean,
I know how challenging that can be.
This person pretty much let out of the bag, but this person is just, hates life, I guess, in general, and is not happy unless you're unhappy. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that you got a lousy home life or something.
The sad part is we have an answer for people that are dealing with that.
Yeah.
God, man.
Yeah, no.
That's the real answer.
And I'm not trying to get, religious or anything here or
But
really,
it's okay.
It was funny because this colleague of mine who went to one of the retreats with me.
Oh, awesome.
He, I was thinking it, it was like I saw this person coming.
Yeah.
And I literally got this weird vibe, like, the devil's coming,
Wow.
And he just said it. I was thinking it and I hadn't said anything. I was just looking at this person coming down the hallway and it just blurs out of my mouth. Here comes the devil.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, oh my God. Yeah, so this person is in desperate need of some spiritual...
A little bit of salvation.
Yes, exactly. But no, aside from that, I'm doing great. Just been a rough week. Today, I'm a little tired right now because I just got home a little while ago from judging a cook-off contest.
What kind of cook-off?
They had... It was for...
I was going to say, don't tell me it's that one we were talking about that's going to be out there by Walmart because I definitely want to be eating it.
Okay, it was one of those slimmed down. It was one that benefits the Del Rio track and field.
Okay, gotcha.
So all of the proceeds and everything like that went to help the Del Rio High School athletic department.
Nice. For
the track and field group.
Yeah.
So they have an individual that sponsors it, which is my immediate supervisor. So one of his judges he's been doing this already for 4 years.
Right.
One of his regular judges could not do it, so I got asked, "Hey, do you want to be a judge?" And I was like, "Okay, sure, not a problem." Well, I didn't know how intense it was going to be. There was much food.
Oh my gosh. Now I have to ask this question because it can tend to color how ferocious some of the competition can be. Was this mostly guys or mostly girls?
Are you referring to the judging or to the
participants? Yeah.
Oh, it was a diverse group.
Okay.
I saw mostly guys there, of course, but the one who took second place in the bean contest was actually a woman. It was
bean contest, really?
Yeah, we judged the beans, chicken, ribs, and brisket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was 21 participants.
No potato salad?
No potato salad.
Oh.
But it was 21 participants that took part in this thing.
Yeah.
So just to get an idea, having to sample 21 things, okay, we kind of figured it out.
There goes the diet.
It went out the door. Now, right away, one of the guys was like, "Look, I'm not gonna try to scare you, but there is a possibility that you can eat too much protein, and if you don't have it, or you could possibly get the effects of gout."
Oh wow!
And I was getting scared. I was like, "We're gonna eat this much meat," and sure enough, it totaled out to about 6 pounds of beef or 6 pounds of meat that I consumed in 5 hours.
We are carnivores.
Yes. Because if you're looking at 1 ounce times the number of times that thing went around, it was about 6 pounds of meat.
That's nice.
And
by the way, PETA, bring it.
Yes, definitely. It was delicious. All of the participants did extremely well. I was blown away.
But you said the competition was pretty.
It was tough. It was tough because after a while you're actually chewing on crackers to try to get your taste buds back.
That's not where I thought you were going.
No. No.
You were chewing on crap after a while.
So I mean, the plates are kind of rolling around in kind of like a counterclockwise motion,
right?
And you have to stop and drink water. Mm-hmm. And then eat crackers to try to get your taste buds back. Right. So not only you're just talking about 6 pounds of meat, but not talking about all the water you're consuming plus all the crackers. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I had a stack of plates waiting for me because I had to take a break.
Right.
So I was trying to get my taste buds back because some of these entrees were like, some were mild and some were just good tasting, and some were like just plain out hot. I mean, to the point it was like my
ferocious.
My nose started running.
Caliente.
Yeah, so it was actually good. I didn't get to stick around to see who they started announcing the winners, but by the time I was like dead tired, so I was like, I'm out of here.
Are you free to divulge who you selected, since you were one of the judges? Since obviously they've had the announcements, even if the one you picked didn't happen to get the most votes.
Well, the thing is, they were numbered, so I don't know. I didn't know any of the people that were there. I mean, I knew one of the.
So in the brisket, it was number 4.
Actually, in the brisket, it was number 16. So if you're out there and listening, you guys did an outstanding job.
Was that the most of all the different things that you were judging? Was that your favorite? Was that your best of show, if you will? And I wonder, did they do a best of show?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I don't think
that would have been cool.
For me personally, the beans and the brisket were my ideal, and then next was the chicken. The thing that I didn't really care for was the ribs.
Yeah, really?
Because they all pretty much tasted the same. The only thing one of them...
And they don't compete with chilies.
No. And the thing is, none of this stuff can be... Or should I say, it shouldn't have been. I couldn't taste it if it was. But store-bought, like barbecue sauce and stuff like that, everything was homemade. I mean, you could taste it. And there was 2 participants there that just got carried away with the garlic. I mean, it was like...
Okay, I have to confess right here, I have yet to find a situation where you can get carried away with garlic, because I love me some garlic.
I know it's good for you. I know it's good for the heart, but geez.
Vampires never come near me.
Well, and then one of them opened up, and I literally
said, "Hi."
No.
You fell out
because we were judging on smell, appearance.
Oh, if the garlic is strong, man, you definitely can smell it.
That's true. Well, that's the thing. That's the first thing I smelled. I was like, okay, this one is loaded with garlic. And sure enough, you taste it. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But one of them was probably a whole 12-pack of Bud Light. I mean, they must have
really.
They must have marinated.
Wow.
They must have marinated every single piece of meat that was on that grill in Budweiser.
Here's our plan: we'll get him drunk, and he'll pick us just because he can't remember anything afterward.
But the meat was tender. It was nice. Good. It was very interesting. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
that's sweet. Well, I had pretty much an exhausting day too. Actually, interesting. We were both kind of volunteering for good causes. We were helping with some minor renovations for the new rental house for a couple, Anna and Ron Sherman, who they operate the Whitestone Ministries, which I have their website up here. If I can bring it, there we go. Whitestone Ministries is a orphanage over in Acuña, Mexico, and for the 5 odd years that they've been operating this orphanage over there, they've basically lived on the premises. And so, as you might guess, no privacy. You know, there's no time for them to be a couple with them. Are you getting a little toasty there?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the sweetest people. Anna is from Johannesburg,
South Africa.
South Africa, awesome. And so she's got that accent.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, which is
So
when last year, when we did, or the year before, actually 2011, when we did the Gospel According to Scrooge, of course, that we did it period. So it was Charles Dickens time frame and in England. So. Of course, I put on the accent.
Right.
And she told me afterwards, she said, that was excellent. Of course, she would know, right?
Right.
So, that just kind of validated I'm on track with that.
The accent, cool.
But they are just sweet people. And matter of fact, she just got back from a long visit with some of her family that's still in South Africa. And so they finally got a place here. And, oh, by the way, if you're interested in just checking out their website, just go to... what is it? Whitestone.ws. So www.whitestone.ws, and you check them out. If you want to give to their cause, taking care of some great kiddos, they got great testimonies and stories to tell about the kids. Definitely encourage you to do so. So anyway, they finally, because they don't, every bit of money that they get donated, they put into the orphanage, obviously.
Right.
And those kids are well taken care of. And they come from, you know, as somebody who's grown up in the area, you know how horrific some of the life stories of these families can be. And so these kids really have a second chance. They really see their lives turn around. So it's a great thing they do, but the Shermans have never had while they've been doing this, they've never had a place of their own. So they finally have got enough consistent donations coming in and other monies that they can afford to have a very modest rent a very modest home here in Del Rio. And it kind of gives them that couple time, that me time kind of thing, and just an opportunity to kind of disconnect a little bit, because they have other staff that take care of the place too. So there's no worries there. But so they rented a place here in Del Rio, but it was
rough.
Oh my gosh. This is one of those places that used to have those big swamp coolers.
Oh,
that's how old this is.
Wow.
Stucco house, so if you're not careful, you can put your hand right through.
Yeah.
I call the stucco houses a paper mache house. So it needed a lot of work. I mean, instead of actual exterior doors, like outside doors, they had like regular interior foam core doors for the front and back door kind of thing.
Really?
That's how...
Like bedroom doors?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
Okay.
So, anybody could sneeze, all huff and all puff, and I'll blow your house in. Easy to get in. The only surprising thing is that it did have bars on all the windows. So, tin roof, and it was so funny. I'm standing there looking at this, and we pulled up, the bunch of us from the church pulled up to help start the renovation. And I'm looking at this house, and you know what I had to say. Tin roof, rusted. And, of course, nobody else but me got the joke there. But so we basically went through all the windows and either reframed or otherwise caulked. I mean, because literally you could close all the doors and windows and still feel a breeze coming through the house. It was pretty bad. So basically spent all day working on that. There was a big old hole in one side of the house that I had to kind of build a form for, and I went through a whole 80-pound bag of concrete.
Oh, wow.
To fill this thing, and still didn't get quite all the way up. We'll have to let it cure and come in with a trowel and finish it off. But I mean, that's how really messed up it is. But by time we didn't get everything that we had planned to do, but by the time I had to cut away and everybody else had to go off to dinner and stuff like that, a lot of improvements. It definitely looks better on the inside than it does on the outside. It's kind of like Doctor Who's TARDIS,
Yeah.
So they now have, the house with a kitchen and bedroom, and it's all nice and pretty much cleaned up inside, and furniture, and they're just waiting for gas to get hooked up and some other things to be set up. But so it was really cool to... Normally this Saturday is the men's prayer breakfast that we all get together over at the church, and we cook breakfast and we share a word testimony, all that stuff. But we made this a work day to go help them out, and so daunting task coming up, but it was well worthwhile. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm looking forward to the podcast just so I can rest. I came home and I had so much stuff, paint chips from things, so much stuff in my hair, and I was like, you just feel like you're not recognizable.
That's how I was after I got home from the cook-off.
The cook-off.
I mean, I was standing in, since the air was coming. God, that's all I was smelling. So the minute I left there, I smelled like I had been thrown in over coals.
Oh no! Oh, so you actually had there was open fire or what, or barbecue pits or something like that there, or is it just because of all that food was coming at you, kind of thing?
Actually, I uploaded photos on my Facebook page. So
I'll have to check that out.
yeah, you got to check that out. The thing was, it was in the parking
and you
lot.
can too.
Yes,
visit
definitely.
his Facebook page.
It was on the side of the Ross, right?
At the mall?
Yeah, at the mall.
Yeah.
Okay, on the side where the carnival usually.
Oh yeah, yes.
Where it usually takes place.
Yes, the evil carnivals.
Yes. I was gonna say something, but right there where the carnivals usually take place, that's where it was, and they had a table for the judges right in the center of the cook-off, and all of the participants were just all the way around.
So you were surrounded.
We were surrounded, yes, and
there's no escape for you.
There wasn't, and it was just so windy, and it just happened to be that the wind was blowing in our direction, so there was no escaping it. Probably all of the clothes at Ross probably smell like
Hey, but at least you could see the continuing or the completion of the construction of the new Gaddy's pizza restaurant.
Actually, I couldn't see it from all the smoke. Let me tell you, but I did see the little orange roof, which I think.
There we go. Yeah.
Now I got a question about that. Are they going to knock down that bar?
Well, it's my understanding that Skip Baker owns that too.
Oh, okay.
Diamond Lils. So. I don't know. Of course, I don't really do anything in the way of clubbing anymore. But I figure he's got two choices the way I see it. Having this brand new, really nice looking building.
Yeah.
And a family, or what is typically known
it's
as
so
a family
close.
restaurant.
I mean, there's no parking.
Oh, literally. I mean, you would be parking both places, really.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, he's got two choices. He needs to really tear that thing down and rebuild it if he really wants a nightclub there, or just tear it down and make that the parking lot.
Yeah,
because I rarely see
that many cars there.
Very many cars there anyway. And just interestingly, the club scene in Del Rio is just about dead. I mean, we have Club Arriba is pretty much closed down, right?
Yes.
And then you got the Chaparral.
Yeah, that's the one that that.
And that's just as a small clientele, a small select group of clientele that go there anyway.
Well, the only thing is, since everything else is closed now, that's the only place that can pretty much congregate. But
that's the only place that they can go to fight.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is, my understanding is, I've not been there.
Yeah, me neither.
But they do tell me that they're a little more strict as far as the type of people that go in there. So if you're looking for trouble, they're gonna kick you out.
And yet I have seen my share of the little blotter going out there. So how do they do that without doing some sort of profiling? I mean, that kind of goes into a dangerous area.
I want to say it's kind of, I would probably venture to say the way clubs get away with it, like in Austin or San Antonio, like on 6th Street, to where
full body searches.
Not so much full body searches, but they're kind of like, You can't go in there in a t-shirt and in shorts. You know what I mean? You got to go in there like.
Well, that pretty much knocks out most of the pilots.
Exactly. Well,
because that's what I perceive that their style of their dressing up is a clean t-shirt and shorts,
cargo shorts and flip flops.
Yeah. That's dressing up for the pilots around here.
Yeah, because usually that's how they go dressed to the movies with their trophy wives.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not all of them are trophy wives. I've come in the work that I do, I've come to know some of them, but dressing up is not a good familiar concept with most of those. Sadly, their wives dress up really nice.
Yes.
Meanwhile, they look like slugs.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, or I don't mean to offend anybody, but when your girl's dressed up and you're going to go to movies like on a date night, put on something more than just the t-shirt and shorts. At least put on some jeans or something with that t-shirt. Yeah. But dress it up a little bit, because that's exactly how you see it.
Yeah.
I've been there and
continue to date your wives. Continue to date them. I mean, that's really.
If they're dressing comfortable, then okay. Yeah. But both of you are dressed that way. But it looks funny when one's really. Dressed
I've always said women dress for other women.
Yeah.
It's more of a competition thing. Guys are like, I don't care what you're wearing. You're wearing the same cargo pants? I don't care.
Well, the way this country's going, men are dressing for other men, so.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah. We got a reprieve on the Boy Scouts of America thing.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. I mean, it's only temporary. They basically punted. Said, we'll wait and let the full, whatever the big, the big clan meeting or whatever they have at the annual meeting, they're going to let the folks there vote on this new policy. But, oh, boy, it's scary. It's scary.
Well, anyway,
yeah.
But, the club scene is pretty much down, and it would be cool if he did maybe move it, like tear it down and build the parking lot there, and then maybe relocate the place.
Although I tell you, if he tore it down, then turned it into like a 70s, 80s, 90s club, kind of like a Polyesters or Culture Club, in San Antonio. If he turned it into something like that, I might actually go once in a while. Not to drink or anything, but not
karaoke.
Oh man, if they did that, I might. It'd be kind of fun to just because I definitely like the '80s music. So it'd be kind of fun to just hang out a little bit with a few friends. I wouldn't make it a regular thing, but just it would be something to do different that haven't done in a while.
I've traveled with Rob a couple of times for trainings and stuff. And Killeen, Killeen, my birthplace.
Yes.
And it's always very exciting and interesting to see him
there
with his performance, his performances. God, that one time I couldn't stop laughing the whole way over there.
That was fun.
That was hilarious. The second time around, I still made the best of it, even though I passed out from the pain that I was in.
Yeah, you weren't in good shape then.
But, I still pushed forward.
You trooper, you.
I had
as Abba says, you're a super trooper.
The 2 days before, the day before the trip, I actually cracked one of my molars in half. And, of course, I wasn't about to cancel my trip, so I went, and I was in excruciating pain. But we made it.
Better living through chemistry, that's what I say.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of tech news. Interestingly, it was announced that Windows Phone 8 in 3 months, in 90 days, surpassed, as far as numbers, Windows Phone 7, which has been out over 2 years. That's pretty remarkable that they pulled off in 9 months with that, which still puts them at a very, very small, like 3 or 4% compared to the other major players. But still, I mean, that tells you that at least they're moving in the right direction. They got the right track by making that switch. That just shocked me. 3 months.
Do you think that had anything to do or play in with the fact that the operating system is the same thing as in the phone, so they're kind of integrating the same thing, so they kind of...
Well, thing is, Windows Phone 7 uses the same as far as the user interface.
But when it came out back then, it was still Windows 7, and Windows Phone 7, but they were different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. In other words, you're wondering if maybe the Windows 8
platform
announcement and release created some synergy. I would believe that there's probably a large part of that.
Yeah, because you look at the new Windows 8 operating system, with the live tiles and everything, and you look at the Windows Phone, the new one, the 8 now, and it's identical. It looks exactly the same. So it's kind of like you get the best of both worlds. You're like, whatever you're doing on your phone is actually happening on your desktop at the same time, which is a good move from Microsoft. And I think maybe that had something to do with it.
It probably did, but also the fact that the hardware, I think, at that point finally got into parity with the other players, and actually in some cases exceeded the competition. And so now you have at least device per device, you have an even playing field. So there's none of this, well, you don't have 2 cores and you don't have this and blah, blah, blah. So... But it just amazed me that it happened that quickly. I didn't really think it was, but I guess part of it also is helped by the fact that Nokia initially, but now a number of other players I've never heard of in the smartphone arena, started coming out with really, really low-end devices. Basically, they're starting to dabble in Android's world because Android's got some really top-end devices.
Yeah.
And then they've got some El Cheapo, you sneeze and they fall apart machines because they can. But now you've got whatever this company is, Huawei or Hawaii or whatever it is, OY. They've got like they've come out with 2 devices already, with 6 more to come out of various price ranges. I mean, they're going all in. You've got these, you've got all these other companies that are starting to come out with devices. And they're starting to creep into cricket and some of the other players. So I think they're finally starting to flood the market, and they're getting more people, more OEMs interested. So maybe that's what's kind of driving the surge on Windows Phone 8. But while they've got a long way to go to be a real threat as far as market share to either Android or iPhone, I was just like, really? In 90 days, you surpassed all of Windows Phone 7 as far as numbers. So,
which is a good sign that the device hopefully is making an impact and will be around and not be something that some of the critics were saying, well, let's see if it's going to catch on.
Right.
Kind of like the
RIM, which is now just called
BlackBerry. BlackBerry again.
Yeah.
They were at their top of the game.
Yeah.
They
fumbled
because they didn't want to change their stuff, and now they're trying to make a comeback. And from what I've been reading, it's
pretty
not
good. But it's pretty good. But I'm seeing that it's like, well, it looks a lot like iPhone and Android and Windows phones. Like we pulled pieces together.
They came out with a complete touchscreen phone, but that's not a true BlackBerry. The diehards need the actual physical keyboard. So they're going to actually come up with one.
Yeah,
so
I'm not surprised.
I'm pretty sure that one might be, their ticket, if anything, to stay above water.
Speaking of keyboards, shock of all shocks, of course, the Windows Phone 7.8 update started rolling, which my Lumia 900 that I still have got updated, and a guy I work with, his got updated, and it's been starting to roll out to some other Troys. Both of the Troys got updated. Interestingly, T-Mobile said we are not going to let the update run on the Lumia 710. And I have a friend there at work that has a 710. He's a T-Mobile guy. I'm like, ooh, sucks to be you. Now, there is a way to actually sideload it and basically flash it with the new update. So if you really are anxious to get the 7.8 and you have a 710, you can still do it. But surprise, surprise, the long thought dead Dell Venue Pro got the 7.8 update. I'm like, I mean, I know. As far as market percentage of Windows phones, like 5 people got one of those because it took so long to get them, and then there were some issues. And then Dell said, we're not going to play in this arena anymore.
Yeah.
And then surprisingly, we started seeing posts different places. I got this notification that 7.8 is available for my Venue Pro. So you got one much more new device who's not going to get it. You got one that was basically Dell's stab at Windows
was right
with it, and it was the only one that still. Well, there was one other, I think, the Quantum, that had the keypad, and it got the update. It was getting the update. I'm like, wow, that is so funny. You just never know. Now, speaking of updates, of course, we got Mobile World Congress coming up. I think everybody's going to be playing some sort of tune in that. There's a lot of rumors that we might see the next iPad mini showing up there, and possibly something about an iPhone 5S. And
I don't know what else it can do to the phone. I mean,
well, what was the one thing that everybody was saying was missing from the iPhone 5? I forget what it was, but they were like, it's got to be adding X. And now I can't. I'm drawing a blank on what it was. I'm like, well, yeah, it was kind of surprising it didn't come with the iPhone 5. But and iOS
wireless charging.
Well, yeah, I think that was it, or maybe it was NFC.
I think it was the NFC.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because now that is everybody's pushing that now. We're starting to see it in all sorts of places. I've been seeing advertisements for where you can get cards, business cards, and everything with NFC built in.
Mm-hmm.
You can just customize it, or you can get ones that you can write to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you know, with the at least the HTC Windows Phone, and I know with the Lumia 920, you can actually write to through NFC. I'm like, oh, this is just too cool. But speaking of updates, there's a lot stirring about this new Windows Blue.
I haven't heard anything about
Really? I've been watching this stuff start to percolate on this, and some more information from Mary Jo Foley, who is on the Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott and Leo Laporte. She works for ZDNet
Mm-hmm.
and writes for them, and she was talking about how some more information has come out about that. Evidently, it's a much bigger thing. You know, we were all thinking this was going to be a bunch of the stuff that wasn't ready for prime time when Windows 8 and Windows RT rolled. So, but that's what we were led to believe. But now it looks like it's a much bigger thing, that it's also some pieces going out to the Windows Phone 8 and to the cloud. Evidently, they've just advertised for looking for somebody to head up their team to focus more on bringing the two platforms closer together. Evidently, one of the legacy areas for Steven Sinofsky, who is, of course, he was in charge of Windows. And, of course, he's no longer there. He's teaching at Harvard. His thing was, if we didn't invent it, if we didn't come up with it, we don't want to have anything to do with it. So basically, they were treating Windows Phone, the Windows Phone team, as their poor country cousin. So they were kicking them to the curb. So they weren't playing nice at all. Wow. With Windows Phone 8. Well, now that he's gone, now there's the gloves are off, and now the teams are starting to work together. So there's this big push to make more of the APIs available, basically to start to remove the differences between Windows Phone 8 and Windows 8 and whatever it comes down the road. So they're thinking there are going to be a lot more updates coming across the board. And I think part of that is not only because Sinofsky's gone, but Android has started to do a couple of things that point to them really going for the let's integrate our world. So I think the race is on now to make the truly ubiquitous, whatever you're doing, literally whatever you do on your phone, you can do on your laptop or tablet, you can do on your desktop, and it's seamless. And which means Apple's got to get on the stick. I mean, their iCloud is good. I don't hear too many complaints about that. No different than the other cloud implementations. But the one thing that they don't have is the true. I mean, there is nothing similar as far between the Mac, iOS, and the tablet. I mean, and the phone. They're
different.
They are different. They are like Windows 7 and Windows Phone 7.
And rightly, just to kind of make everybody known that Apple has been pretty hard about that, because they chose to keep two different operating systems.
True.
You know, they have iOS for their iPads and their iPhones.
Yeah.
And then they have the Mac OS, which is for their computer systems. So there are two different ones, and this is where Microsoft decided, well, we're not going to play that. Let's just go ahead and combine everything together. Yeah. You know, this way, if one unit gets updated, everything is going to get updated.
Right.
But I have been noticing on my iPhone 5 that I've gotten two iOS updates in the last 2 months.
Well, you just got the new, was it
6.1.1.1 or something?
Some iPhone 4S users are reporting some serious issues. They're saying their batteries are just like, I just looked at this, and the battery's like draining and they're heating up.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of that with yours?
No.
Okay.
The iPhone 4 that I have, I haven't noticed anything.
Oh, I thought you had a 5.
I do.
Oh, okay.
But
you still have the 4?
Yeah, I still have the 4, and I haven't noticed anything on that one.
So wonder what it is about the 4S that's
I do know
cooking.
I do know that there are certain apps that when they're running the GPS.
Oh.
The GPS.
Maybe it's pulling the sats too fast.
I think it's either that
frequency.
it's updating your location or something, so it's downloading. And I know because there's other things you can do is you can turn off the Wi-Fi so that it's not on all the time.
Right.
Unless you're going to go into an establishment that has free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's still searching, guys. So it's running down your battery. So if you want to conserve a little bit, you can turn that function off. I don't. But
you don't turn it off, or you don't leave it on?
No, I leave it on all the time.
Okay.
But there's if you're having issues with your battery, you may want to look at your actual apps that you have. Check to see if one is. I know that I read somewhere about the GPS. It's just sucking the battery life of everything. I know that when I do my rides, I have an app that monitors my progress.
Right.
And it's running through GPS, and I do notice that the battery, it's eating up for that hour that I'm on it.
Yeah.
Because it's just the constant GPS monitoring.
Interestingly, on my Lumia 920, I don't really notice a GPS issue with it, but I do notice the NFC radio does take a noticeable toll in it. So I have to be careful with that. Of course, we don't have really a large implementation of NFC in Del Rio, but I think as that starts to expand, I'll probably have it on more. Yeah. But again, Nokia is so good about doing update after update to tweak this, tweak that, add more features. So I have no doubt they'll do something that addresses that.
The only problem that I had when I updated, something happened and it whacked my my Facebook app. So I actually had to delete it.
What did I read about that?
I had to delete it and then reinstall it, and it worked. It worked fine.
I did see that a number of cases where people just. Remember, Tara had that too on her iPhone 4.
Yeah. For one of the updates, I don't know if it was the one before the one that just came out, but I had to delete the Facebook app or the whole thing, shut it down, turn it back on, and then I just had to reinstall it, and then it took care of the problem. So.
Well, and that's usually the typical way to, if you get certain aspects that don't work, is to uninstall that piece and reinstall it, and you get a clean shot. I mean, that's what we've been doing with the with the XSplit software we use here. It's like, well, what you should do when you get an update to the version is just delete your presentation and start with a clean presentation. I'm like, well, okay, fine. Yeah. So, this is going to be a very interesting year as far as tech stuff. I'm really looking forward to see what comes out of the Mobile World Congress. There's a hint that maybe Nokia is going to release a version of the Lumia that has the full-up 41-megapixel camera on it. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I mean, I jones over this camera anyway because I really just love the pictures that it takes, but 41 megapixels.
You're going to be able to pick up your phone and actually turn the knob to zoom it. Oh,
there
you go. You're looking good.
Give me 4 of those. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, anyway, the episode, we're like 45 minutes into the show.
It's going to have a silver umbrella, that pops up, for the flash. Just going to pop it up.
It's got the diffuser and everything. So anyway, the title of the episode is Oops, I Clipped It Again, because we're going to talk just a little bit, very little bit at this point, about the Texas Clipper trip. You've probably heard us on a number of occasions talk about wanting to do a trip down to the Texas Gulf Coast to dive. I've lived in Del Rio on and off since 1983, and never have I been to Padre or any. The closest I've gotten is Galveston to catch a boat. That's it. So. But we've tried a number of times to get a trip down to South Padre to dive on the Texas Clipper, and we really need to do that. We
really got to do it.
Got to do it because you have not gotten any saltwater dives in, and this is the least expensive way to get that experience.
I tell you, the only salt water I've had is the saline spray that I shoot up my nose.
There you go. That's it. That's it. Oh man, mountain cedar is just killing me right now.
Yeah.
But one of the where we've the organization down there that we've tried to contract with, if you will, to do the dives is American Diving, and they actually I'm on their I get their newsletter, and they sent me something a couple days ago announcing that they have a special for June 1st. The tons of steel, which normally costs about $250, it's probably going up this year because of fuel prices, but has a special for $199.
Wow.
Yeah, that is awesome. 3 tanks. They include breakfast and lunch and beverages for the trip. I'm telling you. And so you get 3 tanks. So, we would just bring the rest of our gear kind of thing. And basically, if you need to call now and mention that you saw or heard about the newsletter, their number is 956-761-2030. And so you're like, okay, well, what's so special about the Texas Clipper? I'm glad you asked because I just happen to have here.
We just happen to have some.
Few pictures. So first of all, where is this wreck? It is a wreck, of course. And it's just off South Padre Island. Now, on this map, I should have modified this to show where Del Rio is. Yeah. So you see where San Antonio is on this map? Go almost exactly due west from there. Stop at the border of Mexico and back up 5 feet.
That's where you are.
That's Del Rio.
Where we are.
That's where our international podcast of 2 guys who dive originates.
Yeah.
So you can see we'd have a little bit of a drive for us. What is it, about 5 hours? 4 hours?
About 6.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
There's got to be a shorter way.
No. It's about 6.
Okay.
You probably save some time if you go down along the border.
Really?
Yeah, just drive all the way down that way. You save a little bit of time.
Cut across from like Brownsville or whatever.
Yeah, I mean you can take some of those farm to market roads and save a little bit of time there. And
depends on what the speed limit is, I guess.
Well, on some of those market roads, I've never seen a speed limit sign, so people just fly.
Yeah, I was gonna say no cops, no signs. It's the Autobahn.
Yeah, it's the Autobahn in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, here was the Texas Clipper while it was it was prepped. All the junk, the environmentally unsafe materials were removed from the wreck, and they cut a number of holes in the sides for divers to access the interior of the ship, and also to make it easier to sink. Now, if you've ever watched on like Discovery Channel or Learning Channel or one of those, with the sinking of these artificial reefs, it's pretty amazing. They have their explosive packs that they place at different points to open up the ship and allow water to come in at a controlled rate and a controlled level, so that ideally the ship rests on its keel at the bottom. Yeah. Well, that didn't quite happen this time. So sadly, when they dropped the Texas Clipper, it ended up on its side. And yeah, actually, if you go to the website, which we're going to show you here in a few minutes, if you go to the website, you'll see in some of their pictures, and a number of these pictures are from their website, by the way. American Diving, their website, Dive South Padre, how it actually already started to list to one side as it was starting to sink. So they messed something up in the company that was responsible for sinking it messed something up. So it basically ended up on its side, similar to the way that the Spiegel Grove did originally. It, of course, benefited from Hurricane Irving or whatever it was that went through in the 90s that actually righted the ship, making it an even more awesome dive. So this one's on its side, and this, I guess, is a card you can get to take with you on your dive. I guess it's a laminated, kind of like our recreational dive planners, our tables. So you can actually follow along and see what you're looking at on the ship. So here's just a few pictures of diving on this thing.
Wow.
I know. I'm seriously, envy. So obviously this is the upper superstructure.
You know, if you guys really want to know, that is actually me diving on it.
I
just didn't want to tell Rob.
I didn't want to burst my bubble. But I mean, this is just awesome. I mean, look at that. And you know,
It's clear,
yeah, and you can go inside. I mean, those are open areas. So, well, if you were going to actually penetrate into the real interior, down into the lower structure of the ship, you would need to be technically trained, have wreck diving, cave diving training, so you know how to lay your dive lines and your little signal sign marker points along there, and know how to swim properly so you don't kick up silt. If you watched an episode several episodes back, we showed you some video of what it's like. But still, most of the artificial reefs that are sunk, they actually cut out big openings for divers who aren't certified to do that, can go through safely.
Yeah, safely. Yeah.
And it's just, I mean,
Those pictures are phenomenal.
I know, it's awesome. So visibility is probably, I would guess at this point, about 60 feet, 50, 60 feet. Definitely better than Lake Amistad. This is an awesome picture.
Yep. Now, making this dive with that new camera.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely on our playlist here. Oh, man. Here's a good side view. Here's some of those openings that were cut up. So you big, wide berths to get into the interior and come through. So you don't feel, unless you are really susceptible to claustrophobia, you're not likely to be, affected by it. You can just cruise on through and take your pictures and everything. There's some great pictures on their website. And I also have a YouTube video that somebody started doing. Let's see if I can get that going here. There we go.
Maybe if I lay real still, it will go away. Maybe it will.
Okay, that's an interesting song. Ooh, it's in stereo too.
Yeah.
There we go. So now you can just see some of the bubbles from some of the other divers. And this is typically how most boats are set up. There are one or more mooring buoys permanently placed on the boat, and then there are mooring points. Let me turn this audio down. It's really an annoying song. And then you just moor up to those buoys, and then you just follow your dive lines down there. So there it is on its side. Some other divers down there. It's a very popular dive site. Now, they're wearing full wetsuits. I'm not sure what time of year this dive was done. Well, this guy's in shorty. I think more often than not, I see pictures and videos of folks diving on the Clipper in full wetsuits. So he's going to do a little bit of penetration into the ship here. Yeah, look at all the growth.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is the northern Gulf, the northern Caribbean, the water temps, even in the hottest part of summer, get a little chilly. So, and you also have to be concerned with, jellyfish, and because we actually have quite a few of those around our coast. And so, just if no other reason, wear like a 1 mil, just as a full, or a skin suit just to cover yourself, protect you from getting stung.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at videos like this of the Clipper just really makes me anxious to do this dive. Now, the Tons of Steel dive, as American Diving calls it, is actually 2 tanks on the Clipper, because this is a fairly deep dive. I think that the highest part of it is about 65 feet. So it's just on the edge of where a basic certified diver should be diving. But then for, people like you and I who are advanced divers and have done plenty of deep diving, we can easily see a lot more of the structure. So I'm like, we definitely need to do this dive.
Yep, I agree.
This would just be like a serious high point for you. You would love it.
Not only that, it's so. I mean, it's here on the coast. It's not like we gotta take a plane.
Yeah, exactly. The plane. So awesome. And a big barracuda on a swim through. A swim through, by the way, for those who are uninitiated, is where they've cut big openings in the ship that you literally can swim straight through. That you don't stop, pass go, and collect $200. You just cruise on through. Most of your bigger ships have a number of swim throughs on them. So where's the big barracuda? Oh, right there. And for those who may be under the misconception that barracuda are, oh wow, that's a pretty good school of angelfish. Wow, nice. That is sweet. So yeah, for those who may be under the conception that barracuda are just scary fish, they're scary to look at, but they're actually very, very beautiful. Mm-hmm. Tara and I have done a number of dives where we end up really close to them. I've got some good pictures from our dive on the Vandenberg, which was just a highlight dive for me, where we dropped on the mooring line like you saw in the video. We get to the upper structure, basically one of the big crow's nest type areas of the ship. And there were two barracuda just right there. I mean, literally as close as you and I are sitting. It was just right there. You just kind of, and I look over and I'm like, oh, hi. It's got they got the big eyes, which that's what kind of scary. They're very shiny. Their scales are very shiny, and they're, because they've got the big protruding teeth sticking out of the bottom. And they've got these like shark eye looking things. They're like, like Carol Burnett used to do. That was great. So they're staring at you like that, but they're just sitting there. There was a pretty good current, so they're basically swimming just fast enough to hang in place. Yeah. So they're literally that close, and so I was like, okay, photo op. So I got great pictures.
It's like most anything out in the sea. As long as you don't bother it, it's just as afraid of you as you are of it. So as long as you don't bother it, they're cool. That's
it. And that's one of the test questions too, by the way. Mm-hmm. The reaction, the aggressive action of sea life is usually in response to self-preservation. They're looking to protect themselves. So if you don't go poking the fish, they won't go poking you.
Yep.
It's that simple. Just getting yourself educated on those things. I really can't stress enough how taking the opportunity to actually watch shows on Discovery Channel, Learning Channel, Science Channel are beneficial, because you really see, you learn, I think, a lot about the nature of sea life. It can be dangerous, but it doesn't have to be if you're not stupid.
Right.
So anyway, let me pull up their website here. There we go. Yeah. So if you go to divesouthpadre.com, this is the home of American diving. So they've got a lot about their dive trips. You can go to their you can look at a lot more photos and videos and look at their dive trips. They put their calendar right there, so you can actually establish set something up online with them. Or you can call them, like I said, at that number again, 956-761-2030. Operators are standing by.
But you know what? You might be able to get a discount because the obviously the webpage is illustrating false advertisement because the ship is upright on that picture, and it's
Oh,
really
that's
not.
a good point. I wonder if we could throw that curve at him. Hey, you got a picture of the Texas Clipper, man, and it's on its keel, and I know for a fact that it's on its side, man. I think you should knock off, like maybe 25 buckaroos off the price, man. I'd be happy to go on a dive with you.
I'm gonna spit up my water.
You said you got beverages. You got cool blood, right? Yeah. Just see it.
Yeah.
Oh no, Jeff Spicoli is
Just
just.
because.
Oh, Mr. Hand. But there we go. See how things didn't go quite as planned.
No, by no means.
No. So here's a couple of boats that they go out to the Clipper. That's a nice looking boat on the right there. Big old dive.
Yeah,
fly.
that's the one I was on. When they took that picture of me going down to the.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Scooter. Oh, he's diving with no shirt on. So that must be like in the hottest part of the year. Pretty cool. So anyway, divesouthpadre.com. Check it out to get information on taking the Tons of Steel dive trip. I wouldn't mind trying to hit June 1st, but that'd be it. When do classes finish up for you guys? June 2nd.
June the 2nd. No, it's gosh, I don't know. I haven't
Really?
paid attention to
No,
the calendar.
but of course, once the school is out, doesn't mean that you're done.
No,
Yeah.
I still work. I work all summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But what day does June 1st fall on?
Well, let me check my Nokia Lumia phone here, which I had to unlock. That falls on June 1st.
On a Saturday.
Wow, yes.
I'm off.
You are off, yes.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, do you ever have to work weekends, or is it just special situations?
No, I don't work weekends unless it's some kind of sport thing or like a game or something. Usually I'll be asked, but usually that's extra income for us. So,
okay.
not too big.
So, interestingly, because we'll be showing up on the Administrivia, the dive classes for this year, by the way. But that means we could go up on because you got to kind of hit the dock at like 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the morning, because it's a little bit of a boat ride.
We'd have to leave that Friday.
Yeah, we could go the Friday night before, head out right after work.
Right.
Have fun at one of the beach restaurants or whatever there in South Padre, and then head out to the docks and go on an awesome dive trip.
Do
That
some
would be
diving
great.
and then come on back.
And come back that evening. That would be great. Yeah. So, viewers out there, if you're a diver and interested, it looks like we may see about trying to hit. Of course, it may be full up already. We'll see. But I may call them Monday and see if they're plugged up for that date. And maybe we can do that.
Yeah, sounds
Is
cool.
that financially doable?
It is.
Good. Awesome. So, yeah, I think there'll be a seriously awesome dive trip. So June 1st, $199 if you mention that you found out about this special dive trip via their little newsletter, or you can mention you found out about the newsletter via Two Guys Who Dive. Yes, and that we talked it up. So looks like it would be an awesome trip. One way or another, we're going to get down there and do that dive. And I think we may start looking at some of the other dive around Texas type opportunities. We've talked about the Valhalla trip. We definitely want to do Valhalla.
We're going to do that one for sure.
That will be I think that'll be a much more limited interest dive, because it would be a cold dive.
Yeah, you would need cold water gear. Not to mention you got to have an advanced certification to dive it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but that one is just to say we did it.
Yep, exactly.
That's all
The
it is. It's
uniqueness.
just bragging rights on that one. But,
Speaking of that, do you think you might be able to finally get Dominic back out in the water on that one?
we talked about that when I saw him weeks ago, and he's shedding that weight to get back into his gear. So
You see, folks, that's why we wear neoprene, because it stretches. So don't worry about the weight thing. I mean, you should take care of your shape. I mean, you don't want to be like dying out of breath trying to just carry a pair of fins and a goggle down to the water, but and you want to be able to handle the swim. But come on, diving makes you a diver. Don't worry about the looks. Most people don't care about that stuff anyway. They're just saying, just get in the water.
Yeah, but he did say that he wanted to dive because he did not dive not one time.
That's right, he didn't
this past summer.
Nope.
So he's like at that point. See, he's at that point to where I made an investment and I'm not using it. Exactly. Yeah. So you got to get up there. I mean, you pay money for the course, you pay money for the gear. You gotta do it. It's like Rob is always saying, a C card means you can dive, but diving makes you a diver.
True.
Get out there and start diving.
Yep.
I mean, if you don't have gear, don't let that stop you.
Yep.
Make a phone call. Trust me.
Operators are standing by.
Yes. I got a couple of sets. Rob's definitely got a couple of sets.
I got a few. I've made that offer to a few people that I've run into that said, I dive, but I haven't been diving in a long time, and I don't have any gear. I'm like, well, if you want to get back in the water, get a refresher, just let me know. I'll take you out. As long as you got the time and get the personal gear. If you can get the wetsuit and the mask, fin, snorkel, I got the rest covered. We can do this.
Yes.
And of course, I've gotten a number of people who are interested in they've called me about getting certified. As a matter of fact, one of them wants to get it done like in the next couple of months. I'm like, the water's going to be pretty chilly still. And my business cards are still flying off the shelf there at the coffee shop there on base at the fitness center. So people are interested. It's just we need to get you out there. Now, the other side of that coin is I've talked to a number of people this week, as a matter of fact, who said that the lake is down even more. And it really, really looks bad. I mean, there's even by the dam. They said by the dam you can see little islands.
Oh,
I'm like, if you see that, it's dramatically low. So we need to get a dive in real soon just to see what the conditions are like, especially at Scuba Cove, because that's where we do the training. If the weather is good, if the weather tomorrow is like it turned out this afternoon, I wouldn't mind seeing about pulling off just a short, just to check it out, dive tomorrow if possible. So if you're interested, check your schedule, see if we can pull off just a, it's not gonna be a long thing. We just want to get out there, drop down, just to kind of get a quick check on the visibility, temperatures, and all that good stuff. So,
but no, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. So, that pretty much exhausts what we had for this week. Let me jump into the administrivia.
Administrivia.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun. And that's what it says right there, top line. Okay, so we got our next Del Rio Dive Club meeting, 21 February at Rudy's Restaurant at 7 p.m. We'd love to see you there. And, of course, please consider jumping in on one of our dive trips up to Balmorhea State Park. I've been talking to a lot of people about Balmorhea, just even if they're not divers, just to go up there and visit, because it is a beautiful area.
Yep.
May 17th through 19th, June 14th through 16th, July 19th through the 21st, and, of course, our anniversary weekend. I mean, not me and ScubaBob, but me and Tara. August 16th through 18th.
It's okay, Rob. It's okay. You can tell them.
We've already had our anniversary.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I have listed my basic open water classes for this year. 23rd through the 26th of May, 27th through the 30th of June, 25th through the 28th of July, the 22nd through the 25th of August, and then the 26th to the 29th of September. And then, of course, I'll be throwing in a couple of advanced courses in there in between, because I've had some people express interest in advanced course, so I just need to plug dates in there so they can plan appropriately.
Yeah, and that's something else I've also said before. I mean, at least get your advanced.
Yep. So worth it.
It is. It is. It opens up a lot more diving opportunities for you. And some places where you go diving will require that you at least have an advanced certification. There you go.
Truer words have never been spoken. And, of course, you can always contact us by visiting the DelRioDiveClub.com website, or even better, hit us up on Facebook /Del Rio Dive Club. We always check that out. A lot of good information exchanged there, as well as everything that we're doing with the Dive Club and Two Guys Who Dive. And we do have a Skype address, although we're still waiting on the software to work properly with Skype. But just be ready for that. We definitely want to take advantage of Skype opportunities. So that's Two Guys Who Dive all together there for Skype. Or you can email us at tgwd@outlook.com. And, of course, if you'd like to correspond with ScubaBob, you can do so by following him on Twitter at rsgarza435, or you can send him an email at rsgarza821@yahoo.com. And, of course, you can follow me via Twitter at robertcfp, or you can send me an email at robert.wade@cityfox.net. Now, that's City Fox, not City Fox, as I run into all the time when I'm playing Day of Defeat or Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2. It was City. No, there is no City here. It's City. City, get it right. Just like the people who look for extraterrestrials, they call it City. Although they spell it with an S. They spell it wrong.
Okay.
No. So, yeah, as you can tell, we have just a blast on the show. And if you are in the Del Rio area and would actually just like to appear on the show,
sit in.
we got room. And it's a lot more fun. We actually have somebody in studio, although we definitely look forward to opportunities for chatting with folks on in the chat room. Don't be bashful. We won't bite, not hard at least. And it's hard to actually get a bite through video. It really is. It's almost impossible.
Yeah. But, leave it up to somebody. Pretty soon they'll do that too.
Yeah, technology is going to be there. Of course, it'll all start really go to the porn industry to take advantage of that kind of stuff. You know it. You know it. That's exactly where all of it goes. That's what's driving all of this anyway.
Actually, you know what? It's, guys, it's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
When HD and Blu-ray were coming out, they were trying to figure out which way the porn industry was going to go with this.
Yes.
To see which media was going to make it. Blu-ray won. And that's a true story.
Isn't that scary?
It is. The porn industry decided Blu-rays were better than HD.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's true.
So we owe this podcast to the porn industry.
To the porn industry, because they've...
Oh, speaking of
Porn?
podcasting, no. Speaking of podcasting, I've not heard anything new on
about the lawsuit.
On the lawsuit. So I'm hoping to find some new information this week to see where that's going, because that's kind of scary that potentially they could be coming after all the podcasters, or somehow stopping, all the avenues like Ustream.tv or Justin Live or some of these other, or even YouTube, stop them from allowing podcasts to go be posted unless you pay. In other words, you may have in order for them to pay for licensing for this Nitnoid company who's filing claims on everybody, they may have to go not to an optional fee for service, but you may have to pay to use YouTube. Wow.
That's be scary. A sad day.
Yeah, it would be a sad day. Talk about stifling freedom of speech on the internet. That would be horrible.
Yeah.
So, all right. So more on that later as the news develops. And have they? Speaking of news developing, have they caught the rogue former cop?
As of an hour and a half ago, no, they have not.
Wow, that's kind of scary. Because he knows what he's doing, even though he's clearly a nut job. But that's dangerous stuff out there. If there is any better reason for us to have our Second Amendment rights protected, that's the one. You don't want some crazy person like this who's law enforcement trained because they'll get whoever wants to do a crime is going to get the weapons.
Yeah.
I want to know that I have something that can come up against him with equal firepower. It's that simple.
You know, yeah, I was gonna say something, but I better not. But still, I know a lot of people are still talking about that Second Amendment. I got a call from my brother today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hadn't heard from him in probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, I got a question. I'm thinking about arming myself." You know,
there we go.
He goes,
More
'cause
people are thinking about it.
the way things are going, you know, I might not be able to buy a gun,
Right.
you know, next year.
Yep.
So he wants to get the full package. He wants a handgun, shotgun, and a rifle, and
There you go.
and an assault rifle.
Triple threat.
And I told him, well, okay, I had some concerns, you know, because I mean, after all, he is my baby brother. And when I mean baby, I mean he's like 26 years old, but he's still young.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
But the thing is, he has roommates, and you know,
Yes. Secure
You know,
your weapons.
that's how a lot of these accidents tend to happen. Unfortunately, you know, it's the law-abiding citizen who obtained the weapon the right way.
Yep.
It gets stolen, or it's left out so that people know where it is, and then they ends up getting taken, and then the owner actually ends up getting killed, and then a bunch of innocent people go and get shot and killed themselves. You know, which is a really sad story.
Yep.
But I did tell my brother, we got to have a serious
talk.
sit down, because
Yeah.
you're going to need to secure those weapons, because not that I don't trust him, but his roommates are a whole different
Right.
story, you know.
You know, real quick before we finish up here, kind of brings us full circle. Anna Sherman, the folks who we were helping out this weekend with their house, she was telling me that that in South Africa, they actually went through a period several years ago, where they were basically trying to remove guns from places. So they basically asked people they basically sort of went through a voluntary confiscation and basically collected most of the weapons. Sad part was, so they disarmed basically the public, and the murder rate went up, and people were getting killed with their own weapons.
Sad.
It is sad. So, you know, the bottom line is, if criminals want to get weapons,
They're going to do it.
they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So why not protect yourself and support the Second Amendment? So anyway, we, as always, had a great time this week.
Yep.
We love doing the show. And hopefully, if you didn't see it live, you'll see it on YouTube. And we've given you ways you can contact us if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions. And we just hope to continue to entertain you with all sorts of different things as we bring you next week another episode of Two Guys Who Dive.
Good night.